Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for today's plan with me. This week I'm using a kit from Sadie Stickers called October 2020, immediately lost my ability to speak, October 2021. So this kit is 4 years old, which is nuts to me to think that I'm still able to use a kit from that long ago. It's a really beautiful kit. It's kind of, it's a softer autumnal tone of kit, I suppose, as in it's not that kind of deep burgundy, browny, like deep reds and greens and things. It's kind of a really nice pale blue and some softer, dustier browns. Apologies in advance if you hear any noise behind me. I am dog sitting this weekend for Wendy's friends. She always stays with them when we go away, and they are in Mexico at the moment, so I'm here looking after their lovely boys. But they pitter-patter everywhere, so apologies if you can kind of hear at any point. They're both cuddled up on the sofa now, but if one of them, it's highly likely that one of them will get up, so apologies in advance if you can hear like tap, 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 tapping of them walking on the floor at any point. I had, in my last plan with me, I was so mentally and physically and emotionally exhausted by everything that was going on. I had completely forgotten to say thank you to everyone who had written such lovely comments about the voiceover that I did with my husband. There was some really lovely positive feedback and just kind of real nice words of encouragement. And I really appreciate that, everyone that took the time out of their day to watch and to leave a lovely comment. I my whole week was thrown off kilter last week, and I had meant to start by saying that, and then by the time I posted the video, I was sort of face palming, thinking, I was supposed to have said thank you to everyone. So apologies that I was just not in the right space of mind last week. So I haven't actually listened back to that voiceover since I did the kind of check that the recording sounded as it should the whole way through. I wonder if I listened to that again, if I would feel like I sounded like I wasn't on this planet. But more time has passed now. I'm still late recording this plan with me. I've had all day, but I've been so tired between work and then trying to get some more sleep. We are just not sleeping at the moment. My neck's really tense. Lewis's back has been sort of thrown out or seized up the last couple of days, and it's been rough. It's been a really rough week and a half so far. So this was the week that Wendy got bitten. On the Monday, I had the day off, and I'm sort of trialing compressed hours at the moment just to see if I can help my fatigue symptoms by taking Mondays off. So I can't do it every Monday. Warning that there's going to be some pitter-patter. I can't necessarily do it every Monday, but for the most part, I want to try and compress my hours into Tuesday to Friday and just have a long weekend so that basically I can recover from whatever activities we do on the weekend, because where I'm struggling is if we have plans on a Saturday, I have to recover all day Sunday, and it feels like I just haven't had any, downtime to get anything done, to do any meal prep or kind of do any of the life admin that needs to be done. So my thought process is that would then mean that I can recover and still do the things that I need to do across the 3 days. So far it's going really well. But on this Monday, I took Wendy for a really nice long walk to the golf course near us. And I think I was out for almost 2 hours with her in the end. She wasn't all that interested in it, hilariously. She doesn't like being woken up too early and doesn't like being taken out too early. And I probably started out with her about 10:30, and she's just not ready to start her day at that point. She's still in bed, so she just wasn't super into it, and it was really miserable weather, and she's not one for the rain, so not one of our favourite times, but took her anyway. And then on Tuesday was when we decided, even though she'd had the long the long walk on Monday, we decided to take her to another local place in case she could run with any dogs, because she really does particularly love, Whippet's kind of built for that short burst of speed, and it's nice if they have other dogs to kind of run and play with. So that was our idea. This is kind of a place that's known for people having kind of friendlier dogs, and dogs are quite commonly walked off lead and don't really mind if your dog kind of goes over and approaches and stuff. For the most part, we haven't really come into contact with anyone who's sorry if you just heard a really big breath down the microphone. One of the dogs just got up and did an enormous sigh right next to my phone. So usually no issues there. However, we bumped into this one dog, and Wendy was kind of walking a bit ahead of us, and that dog kind of, nice big shake again, right next to my face, right next to my phone. They've just swapped places. That's hilarious. They've just crossed the room and swapped places. Anyway, bumped into this lady. Her dog sort of walked out in front of her. So her and Wendy met kind of in the middle of us owners, if that makes sense, probably like a few feet ahead. Her dog was really growly and sort of immediately aggressive and defensive in her kind of mannerisms, and we were like, we'll move away. The one thing Wendy has on her side, of course, is speed. Once that had happened, the owner kind of assured us that her dog was just coming off of heat, and it's not as aggressive as it looks. She's just kind of communicating, don't get, too close or whatever. And after that kind of initial growl, shall we say, now the dogs are going to start playing. No, thank you. Isn't it typical? They sleep for hours, and then as soon as happens at home as well, as soon as I start recording, everything happens. All the excitement goes on. So after that interaction, and we were going to start walking away, they started to play. Wendy got really major zoomies, on the spot spins, started getting really excited, running kind of circles around the other dog. The other dog was having a really good time and kind of checking back in with its owner. And it was only a small pup. It was a 10-month-old staffy. And all the staffies we've met, I know dogs like that are somewhat known for having the potential to be aggressive, just like XL bullies and things like that. But every staffy that I have met or known has been lovely and gentle. And yes, they throw their weight around, and no, they don't realise how big or heavy they are. But I suppose it must just be the owners that we know that have had them, have known how to control them. Anyway, she's only a small dog. They had finished playing and sort of come back over to us. I asked the owner if I could give her dog, I'm scared to say the word now in case they're interested in it, but I asked if I could give her a treat, and she said yes. So I leant down, I made her sit, gave her one, and as I was doing that, I didn't notice the other owner was doing the same with Wendy. And as she reached down to kind of stroke Wendy's head, her dog noticed that, turned on her heel and grabbed, because we were all in kind of the same area at that point, so Wendy had no space to run, as in by the time the other dog's mouth was on her, there was no time from the moment that the dog saw the owner. It was like a split-second thing, and she just latched onto Wendy's face and was doing that kind of I've only ever seen people kind of describe it when crocodiles attack. Sounds really, really dramatic, but the way they kind of shake people around to drown them under the water, it was, I guess, kind of reminiscent of that in terms of she was really shaking. She was all over Wendy's face and shaking her face. And it looked so scary. And in that moment when it's happening, that's never happened before. Wendy's never, ever been attacked by a dog in that way. We've certainly come across dogs that have not wanted the interaction, and we've moved away. It was just awful. And I honestly thought in that split second moment in my head, I was like, I don't think she's going to have half a face when she comes out of that. I mean, it all happened so fast. We're talking seconds that this happened for. And it was just really intense. The owner grabbed her dog really quickly and obviously was sort of trying to control it. Thankfully, she was so tiny, it's not all that difficult. If it was a bigger staffy, it would have been a lot worse. And I ran over to Wendy and we had a check, and she had a massive hole in the side of her face. I won't put a picture here because I think it's probably just a little bit distressing for people to see wounded animals. But, whippets have that kind of long nose, and the dog had basically bitten hard enough that it had gone through to the gum. It hadn't gone through the gum, but the vet was telling us that in the pressure of the clamping down, it had gone to the gum and kind of swollen the gum on the inside. So obviously that was incredibly distressing, and we just had to immediately run to the vet. We exchanged numbers, got straight in the car and headed to the vet, and then they did the operation. I say operation, it's such a huge word. She had to have 3 layers of stitches basically the next day. So they had to put her under general anaesthetic, even though I'm not keen on dogs going under general anaesthetic, but we didn't really have a choice. And then he was explaining the tiny bit of muscle that he'd had to stitch up, and then a couple of other layers of stitches and some sutures in the top. And then obviously she had to come home in the cone and have antibiotics and paracetamol and stuff. And just the whole process is so all-consuming. It's time taken off of work, it's time going to the vet, it's emotional distress, it's lack of sleep, all of those things that people don't consider when those sorts of things have happened. And the owner was, nice enough, but just didn't take all that much accountability, and wasn't sort of forthcoming with details around paying the vet bills and things like that. She sort of held everything up, and was sort of trying to downplay, it was an accident. I think her tooth just snagged on Wendy's face, and it's like, no. It was absolutely a turn, snap and bite. It was a split second, super possessive of the owner bite. And the owner had told us when we'd been talking, when they'd been playing, that she is newly pregnant. So again, the dog's behaviour makes complete sense. When you add these things up, immediately the dog is protective of whatever it can sense is going on with its owner. And to me, that would be really concerning as the owner, not wanting the dog to kind of be resource guarding the baby, I suppose, and ending up with one of the parents having an injury from something like that. So all we can do is hope that they're taking it seriously. The monetary side of things is resolved now, and Wendy will have her stitches out next week. But it's been awful. Sorry, this has been my entire voiceover, but it really has been so emotionally exhausting, and we haven't been sleeping. She's been determined to sleep under the duvet covers, even with her cone on. So you can imagine what that's like, all night trying to accommodate for the cone and making sure that she's comfy and that it's not stuck on anything. And, so it's been a time. So then as part of that, obviously you're more run down and kind of more susceptible to, we've both kind of been on the cusp of colds. Like I said, I've had a really bad neck, Lou's had a really bad back. You just kind of become more prone to these things when you're not getting the sleep and the rest that you need, and you're kind of run down in other ways. And just trying to crack on with work, like you just sort of try and get through the day, So hopefully I sound a little bit more upbeat, even like a little bit more alive, I suppose, this week in this voiceover than I was last week. Sorry that it's going up late again. I needed to be in the right headspace to do it, and I just have not been well rested enough. But in terms of the weekend plans, in this plan with me, I did end up coming to walk the boys last weekend, which was nice, just kind of get out with them for a little bit. And then on Sunday, I went with my friends to do the ceramic painting again, which was a really, really wonderful thing. We've booked again to do it in November, to do some kind of Christmas painting. I know I'll have said it in the plan with me that I did it before, but I highly recommend it. It's just so calm, and you can really have a conversation. It's not a movie or a situation where you're having to watch the kids or the dog, or you can just kind of focus on the painting and just talk while you're painting. And it's just the loveliest time, and we absolutely love it. So yeah, we're going again, and I've managed to talk Lewis into it. So he's going to come and have a go at some point in November, and then I'm going to take my sister in December as well. And the other good thing is it can be as cheap or as expensive as you like, which is really, really good. So if you've all got different budgets, you don't end up having to pay 40 quid for a meal. You could pay £8 for the thing you want to paint, and someone else could paint something, much bigger or much more intricate for, £20-30. So it's something we're enjoying at the moment, and I think we'll probably continue to do that once every couple of months. But yeah, sorry that most of the spread focused on that story. But here's the finished spread. I hope that you enjoyed watching this one for the most part, at least. And I will see you in the next one.